This is going beyond universes already. What is it about covering the whole universes? Whenever you use wrong terminologies, it's wrong. Later on, it's gonna be covering up this and that, from covering universes until covering other things. That's not it. That which is not, this is it or this isn't it. This doesn't exist. The delusion comes later on from the assumed up of opinions and meanings. It's the belief values in opinions and meanings. Everything doesn't have this is it or this isn't it at all. Whenever you are deludedly giving the idea of this is it or this isn't it, it is being specific to one or two things at a time. But with everything, it will end all about this is it or this isn't it, because it cannot be done like that. It cannot be specific. Relating or not relating doesn't exist in everything as it is. Engaging or disengaging doesn't exist with everything. Grasping or not grasping doesn't exist in everything. Is there having, grasping or not grasping, relating or not relating, engaging or disengaging? Is there being empty or not? Having or not having doesn't exist. There is no meaning as having or not having, existing or not existing. All about having or not having doesn't exist. Even non-existence doesn't exist. Not having doesn't even exist. How can you argue here? What is it going to be used for arguing here? There is no such thing as being deluded or not in everything. Is there a delusion or non-delusion here? You are saying it, but it doesn't say as such. It doesn't say that it's not deluded. Everything doesn't have deluded or not deluded. You are saying, you are thinking all by yourself. You are saying by yourself. You. Everything. Think of it a little bit. Even the word everything is already more than enough. Everything is as it is. It will end the belief values about being specific with one or two things, being deluded to yes and no, having or not having, being deluded to let go or not letting go. This is being specific, being deluded to attach or not attach. It will end all about this, because everything doesn't have attachment or non-attachment as it is. It doesn't have this in everything as it is. There is no such thing as having mindfulness or not, concentration or not. There is no such thing as having contemplation or not. There is no such thing as insight or no insight, wisdom or no wisdom, great compassion or not great compassion. In everything. There is no meaning as having or not having as it is. when you use the word everything is done already, there is no need to trying to attach or not attach, or being deluded or not in whatever ways, or being empty or not empty in whatever ways. There is no need to. There is no need to be empty or not empty in whatever ways. When the word everything is there, is done. Because everything doesn't have having or not having already as it is. No meaning as having or not having as it is in everything. No meaning as being empty or not as it is in everything. No such thing as such is there because of opinions and meanings. Being empty or not empty is just an opinion and meanings given to such an idea. Even not having doesn't exist. As it is, not having doesn't exist. As it is. It's not just happening that is not having only now. Not having doesn't exist already as it is. There is having or not having is because of opinions and meanings fabricating. It's called belief values in opinions and meanings fabricating by the desire. That's why there is meaning as having and not having. But actually, having and not having doesn't have meaning as such as it is within everything. But because of opinions and meanings fabricating as having and not having, it is the belief values. When it is fixated, it becomes a path. It's become a delusion in practices. Everything is as it is, but it's deludedly being specific with one or two things in this way and that way or by oneself. Everything is everything as it is. But when it is being specific in this way and that way or by oneself, it is from seeing and knowing that is in the belief values of the opinions and meanings. That's why it's become specified, and that becomes realms of existence. Whose is the realms of existence? It is actually by the delusive attachments, who doesn't exist, but it is the delusive attachment that is happening every once in a while. There is non-self that exists. It's just the delusive attachment that is happening every once in a while. Whose is the realms of existence? It doesn't belong to anything or anyone. It is by the delusive attachment that is happening every once in a while. Whenever there is a fixation, it turns into a realms of existence of the delusive attachment right away. There is the delusion to attach or detach all by oneself. Actually, there is no need to do that. Because attachment or non-attachment doesn't exist in everything. Why there is the need to be attached or detached? For what? It's already natural in such a way that there is no need to be attached or detached in whatever ways. In everything, there is not grasping for the non-grasping as it is, not attached to the non-attachment as it is. attachment or non-attachment doesn't exist as it is. Grasping or non-grasping doesn't exist as it is already in everything.
มันไม่มีอยู่แล้วทั้งหลงทั้งไม่หลง
Delusion or non-delusion doesn't exist as it is, but we have assumed up delusion or non-delusion all by oneself.
ไอ้ที่มันไม่มีทั้งมีทั้งไม่มีเนี่ยมันก็ไม่มีทั้งมีไม่มีอยู่แล้วนะ
Having or not having doesn't exist as it is.
มันจะได้มาหาคนนากันแบบไม่ได้พยายามจะมาหา
Let there be the great compassion without trying to have great compassion. Just don't separate anything, don't divide anything from anything. Don't separate or divide in this way or that way. Don't. Being specific is the habit of creating realms of existence. That's why it becomes karmic difficulties to be specific, and it becomes realm of existence. The realms of existence of the delusive attachment also. There is no real self even. Each realm of existence doesn't have real self in it. There is just the habits of the delusive attachment. Being deludedly holding on to this and that here and there, each one at a time. Holding on to seeing and knowing each one at a time. Holding on to feelings and emotions, each one at a time. Holding on to this and that, there is just a delusion to hold on, to fixate. Actually, there is no real self, no intrinsic self there. There is just the delusive attachments, the habits that is pushing forward to hold on, to fixate. That which has nothing to do with relating or not relating. How can there be any fixation to anything? Or not fixated to anything? What is there to be holding on to? Or not holding on to? There will not be such a thing. There will not be something that is trying to attach or not attach to anything. That which has nothing to do with relating or not relating. There will not be such a thing as trying to attach or not attach to anything. It will not happen in such a way. This is called ending all about attachment or non-attachment. Automatically, it will end the idea about attachment and non-attachment. When the word everything is there, it's impossible to hold on to everything. How can it happen in such a way? The fixation is one or two things at a time. For example, holding on to seeing and knowing, it can be done one or two things at a time. When you say everything, which one that is you are going to be fixated upon? Because if you fixated on something, it cannot be everything. Because it is one or two things at a time. It's specific.
คือมันไม่มีทั้งยึดไม่ยึดอยู่แล้วไง
Everything doesn't have attachment or non-attachment as it is already.
มันไม่มีอยู่แล้วทั้งเอาไม่เอาทุกอย่างเนี่ย
Grasping or not grasping doesn't exist in everything as it is.
มันไม่เอาทั้งไม่เอาอยู่แล้วทุกอย่าง
Not grasping for grasping or not grasping in everything as it is.
มันมีไหมดินเอาตัวมันเอง
Is there anything like the earth
มีไหม
grasping for itself? Is there something like that?
หรือพยายาม
No.
ที่จะไม่เอาตัวมันเองมันมี
Or
ไหม
trying to not grasp for itself?
จะไม่มีเลยทั้งเอาไม่เอา
There is no such thing as grasping or not
เอา
grasping.
มันก็มาจากไอ้ที่
Grasping or not grasping is just the assumed up of opinions and meanings from the belief values of opinions and meanings. ทุกอย่าง Everything. If you say the true origin, they will search for it. But if you say everything, there is no need to search for it because everything is there already. But if you talk about the true origin, they will search for it. Everything is already the true origin in itself as it is. It is not that the mind is the true origin. Everything is the true origin. Because if you talk about the mind that is the true origin, the true original mind, then everyone will go there right away. But that's turned into each individual original mind, which is formed up in a new way. The true original mind like this, like that. The true origin is actually everything. It's not only about the true origin of the mind. Because if you say that the mind is the true origin, that's not it. Because all about the mind, it's just an assumed up, it's not the true original. The true origin is everything. Having or not having doesn't exist as it is. Attachment or non-attachment doesn't exist as it is. That's the true origin. But the mind is assumed up and called as mind later on. Form is assumed up and is called form later on. Formless as well is assumed up later on is called formless. Body is formed up and is called body later on. But the true origin is everything. It is not the mind. When the mind is there, it indicates that it is not the true origin already. Even true origin doesn't have meanings as the true origin. Everything actually is not considered as the true origin or not. It doesn't have meanings. is not considered as being empty or not. It doesn't have meanings as such. It's impossible to be called being empty or not. There is no meaning. This is the terminology that has been held on to. That's why we have to clarify like this. That is grabbing for the non-attachment. We have to clarify and dissolve the conclusion like this. When the word everything is used, the troublesome is ended already. The troublesome is there is because of being obsessed with one or two things being specific like this. When everything is used, it's not being specific to certain directions already. Everything is not grasping for the non-grasping itself. It's impossible to be specific for certain directions. All being specific will be dissolved. It will purify all realms of existence all at once at the same time. Everything, not grasping for grasping or not grasping, all the same with everything. Because grasping or not grasping doesn't exist all the same in everything. Everything doesn't have grasping or not grasping all the same. There is no such thing as grasping or not grasping, having or not having doesn't exist in everything. Even being the same doesn't have anything in being the same. Everything, not grasping for grasping or not grasping, all the same. Not having, having or not having, all the same. Being the same that doesn't have anything in being the same. It's the same in the way that there is not grasping for either grasping or not grasping. That's everything that is not about anything in everything.